Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to jump on here and just kind of go over. I haven't really talked about the whole pandemic in a long time, and America's reaction to it or the worldwide reaction to it. And so I figured today would be a good time to chat. I'm just going to give it just a couple of minutes of talk today. Nothing long term, not a long duration video. But I wanted to just touch base with you guys because, many of you guys knew my position in the very beginning. And one of those positions is to, I was in agreement in the very beginning with the initial, you know, few weeks of shutting down or what have you. It was my first pandemic, but anyhow, as I'm looking around, and we've learned a lot through this whole thing, and one of the things that really is sticking out to me now is some of the most liberal stores. I'm actually out running some errands today, getting some things from some stores, and um, I'm looking at some of the most liberal stores to date that I've experienced. The ones that were mandating the mask policy way, way longer than a lot of other stores were, and different things like that. And I'm seeing how everything is just busted wide open right now. And now, granted, we've been wide open as a society in Florida for a long time. I think since August of last year, but we've still had business mandated masks, and of course, they would put signs on the door, and it was few and far between if they would stop you for not wearing a mask. I got sick and tired of wearing the mask a long time ago, so I stopped wearing it. Um, and I just couldn't continue to do life that way. I figured in the beginning it made sense to err on the side of caution. But after some time went by when I just felt like nothing was changing, and I wasn't going to live the rest of my life like this, and so um, I'm going to these stores today, and I'm seeing how everything's wide open, and I'm realizing at the same time, you know, some people will say a lot has changed, but I'm going to say little has changed, because I mean, what, 50% of the country has not received the vaccine, right? I don't know if even 50% has. I really don't know the numbers, but you know, in addition to the fact that they now have variations of the virus. I think there's one that's called the Delta variation that's apparently, like, I don't know, something like 80 times more infectious, spreadable, contagious than the one we were initially dealing with. And it's the vaccinations that have been released are completely useless in with this variation, is what they're saying, and all of these different things. And I'm just looking at the whole situation at this point, and I'm thinking to myself, like, do people not get it by now? Like, I've learned a lot through this whole situation, and you know, I've learned a few different things. One of those things that I've learned is how people can react prematurely. Because I still hold to the fact that, honestly, in the very beginning, I think it was better to err on the side of caution before people actually knew what was going on. And the second thing was, and a lot of people were just like, in the very beginning, just blatantly rebellious. And I don't necessarily think that's the right position either, because, that can, there's a reason for safety measures, and different things like that. Working smart, right, versus hard type thing. And so anyhow, as I'm looking around today and I'm looking at what's going on, it's pretty ridiculous. Like, how people are literally acting as if everything has changed, right? But really nothing's changed. And, it's just, this is where I'm literally at a point where I'm like, I really, 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 really hope that we learn, number one, that, while some of the measures that, we take at very high levels in this world, um, may have good intentions. They may have evil intentions, some of them. but I'm not necessarily pointing to the evil intentions at this point. I'm pointing to the good intentions. I believe some people were operating out of good intentions. I believe some people are still deluded to the point where they actually believe, um, in a lot of the lockdowns, even to date. To be quite honest with you, I don't think everybody's necessarily in this big gigantic conspiracy theory. I think that it's being fed from the top down, and a lot of people are just kind of partnering with it because they trust their political party or whatever the case may be. But at this point, I look at the situation and I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. It is ridiculous that nothing has really changed. Nothing. But yet it appears as though everything has changed. What was the good of doing what we did? It doesn't look like anything.